almost 3 weeks over spades, huh?
That's what I said because you called me to be on the spade team and stuff. And I know what I taught you. You're going to take and hit that table like that there with a heart.
So
when you hit that table.
So when can I come back to your house?
You can come to my house anytime, but you can't come there talking spade, but you don't know what you're doing. But stay away from them spade tables.
Mine ain't that serious, Mom.
You don't
how smart POD sellers turn one design into 10 different bestsellers using Kittl. They take a winning template and in 5 minutes, they create multiple designs for trending niches that sell on platforms like Etsy and Amazon and so many others. It's the same proven design, just swapping out the text and colors. And instead of gambling on 10 random designs, they multiply one best-selling quality template. By the time you finish watching this video, they're going to have uploaded 10 designs and started selling already. So let's take a look at how it works. Over here, I'm going to click on merchandise, then t-shirts, and in the template search panel, I'm going to type in camping and then scroll until I
that the pro-Israel lobby is on the brink of collapse. They are desperate for allies, right? And they're so desperate for allies that they're forcing them away. Bibi Netanyahu is committing a genocide, and Ben Shapiro sat down with him last month. I think he pressed Bibi Netanyahu on the point of a genocide. Planned. It's not organic. The supporters are not organic. The questions are not organic.
Candace Owens is convinced that the pro-Israel lobby in the United States is on the brink of collapse.
Yo,
and
good
hey,
morning.
I'd like nothing more than that. It'd be the Christmas gift of the ages. And in this clip, she gets into how this plays into the recent MAGA civil war with Zionists like Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin trying to cancel Tucker Carlson, why these people are acting so desperate, and why they don't exactly have the best standards for who and who you can't platform. So let's get right into it. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Now, I want to also show you what Ben said about me, because it's so outrageous and so dishonest that we actually should process what is happening here. Okay, this is a watershed moment. Ben does not have it together. He is very insecure, and he's going on the attack against Megyn Kelly by lying about what I said and then forcing her to react to the evil of what I never said. Here's what Ben said.
Business where people comment on what we say publicly. Again, this is why I think you and I differ on our angle with regard to, for example, Candace Owens. I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But
Because
like I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yes.
Absolutely untrue. I've seen every episode. This is a total lie. I have, reason to believe that Ben Shapiro knows it's a lie, and he cares more about the narrative than the truth, as do all Hasbara-obsessed Zionist stooges. It's absolutely untrue. Candace has been very charitable to Erica Kirk and not levied such accusations at her, even when so many people within kind of the conspiratorial community have done that, have said, hey, Candace, you need to focus more on Erica Kirk. She was clearly involved. Candace has said nothing of the sort. She also hasn't said Seth Dillon and people within Turning Point USA are responsible for his death. Yeah, she's brought up some things where she said, hey, Charlie was betrayed. He was clearly turning against Zionism and turning against Israel. We have that in his own writing via the text she divulged, but never blaming them or saying that they were involved in his actual murder. She has raised some things I don't disagree with, but this is just a plain lie. And what else should we expect from Shapiro? He lies for a living.
It's just, I don't even know how to respond to it because it just never happened. It's so crazy. He's not even anywhere near what's happened. Anybody who's watched this show, I actually was getting flack from my audience for not covering Erica's past or speaking about her parents.
Yeah.
I said she gave one of the most consequential speeches, and I had focused my investigation on Turning Point USA and why they're telling certain lies. Seth Dillon, I told the truth that Seth Dillon lied about the Hamptons meeting and that he was pressuring Charlie about the topic of Israel. I never once accused Seth Dillon of murdering Charlie Kirk. So what's he actually doing here, right? Obviously, there's a lot of layers that we should peel back, and it's important that we do it. The least interesting part of this is the fact that he's lying through his teeth. That's implied he's a Zionist. But there's a lot more that's happening that meets the eye, because Ben Shapiro was effectively the final boss of the pro-Israel lobby. And it's because he never comes out and says what he means. He's kind of like more of a behind the scenes person. And we're not watching him come undone in real time, because no matter who you are in this age of digital media, it is simply not a good idea to lie through your teeth. Okay.
Certainly so. It's so much easily disprovable than it ever was in the past. And you know Candace will bring receipts. That's her whole repertoire. That's her whole persona. That's her whole appeal to the people that love and follow her. It's just irrefutable. And to me, the interesting thing about this, and I agree with her, by the way, is not only that he lied about this, but that he's trying to steer Megyn Kelly and manipulate her into taking his side in this squabble, despite knowing, Ben's not stupid, he knows that Megyn Kelly is a friend to both Candace and Ben Shapiro and doesn't view like she has to take a side in this. Now, whether you do or not is not the question. I would like to take a side in who's right when it comes to who betrayed Charlie, who clearly lied to him, who was wrong about trying to lionize him as a rigid Zionist despite knowing better in his final days. I have a clear position on that, but Megyn doesn't. But you're trying to manipulate her to your side specifically to try to win back favor on the right that you have so lost. And it's clear why you lost it, because you're Israel first. You're essentially a foreign operative. We see through you, Ben.
Wrong time, 2025. Before you get the lie out, the internet is going to clock it, right? They're going to go back and be like, you lied. And when you do something like that, the blowback is going to be on you. They're going to go, actually, this now impacts your credibility. You said that Candace went out and said something about Erica. By the way, you hear the people in the background going, woo! I'm going to tell you what's happening there too. And you're going to see how this thing really worked.
Can you tell these are AI?
Not really.
Neither can we. Go to Artlist for the best quality AI. Always up to date. Get the strongest models in one flow and create the best AI images, videos, and voiceovers in one place. Just enter a prompt or a starting image and get video with lifelike motion and true to prompt results with a premium cinematic finish. Go to Artlist and start creating without limits.
Maybe the Zionists piped in 7K to clap for each of the clappers in that audience. Maybe so.
Point number one that I want to make about what Ben is doing right here is just the stunning hypocrisy of it. The rules for thee and not for me. I am getting old. My memory is getting a little fuzzy, but I distinctly remember the week that I was gloriously fired from the Daily Wire. And during that week, the CEO of the Daily Wire, at the time it was Jeremy Boring, jumped onto an X Space hosted by Lauren Chen and had a conversation with Nick Fuentes where he sang Nick Fuentes' praises and also invited him onto the Daily Wire, okay? Here's a headline, because the Huffington Post remembers too. Daily Wire CEO tells white supremacist Nick Fuentes that he's talented and he's very funny. The article goes on.
Jeremy Boring, cancel Jeremy Boring, blood libel. This proves that the Daily Wire is an anti-Semitic organization. Look at what its CEO is doing. He's platforming and applauding Nick Fuentes.
During a live streamed conversation with white supremacist Nick Fuentes last week, the CEO of the Daily Wire, a major right-wing media outlet, praised the prominent fascist influencer and offered only mild criticism about some of his political views, a stark difference from how he has spoken about Fuentes in the past. On March 25th, the Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring joined Fuentes on X for a live audio chat room. Boring told Fuentes that he listens to Fuentes' show quite often, and that he thinks Fuentes is, quote unquote, very funny and one of the most talented political influencers, even if he is very concerned about some of what Fuentes says.
How you doing this morning, Wendy?
And just notice the mainstream media, the legacy media, is going to put you in the same bucket of Fuentes, regardless of whether you speak out against them or not. You know, they're.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow is a holiday, and I have a doctor's appointment today. So I just figured, like, why would I go to work, leave early, go to the doctor, and then the next day have that day off? And then I was like, you know what? I'll just take the whole Monday off. So I'm using paid time off today, and tomorrow is just a paid holiday. So 2 extra days, Wendy. 2 extra days. I went and got this Saturday. Jeep Grand Cherokee. I traded my Lexus in. I missed my Lexus already. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I think I might get another Lexus next year. Yeah, I hope so too from my doctor. Just been running some tests and going back for a checkup on, because I recently got on a prescription. I just wanted to have a checkup and stuff.
They're saying this of the Daily Wire. They're
Yeah, I've
supporting
been
a
feeling
fascist. This is exactly the tactics that the Zionists.
Yeah, I've been feeling fine with way less headaches. That was the main thing I got was a headache medicine, so I'm not buying like over-the-counter shit all the time.
Saying that this is a major right-wing fascist organization. Just absurd.
Later in the discussion, Warren said that he'd be thrilled to have Fuentes on one of the Daily Wire's shows to debate the media company's popular pundits.
Yeah, I feel fine.
Who have millions of viewers.
Mom Cozy sent me their V2 Pro wearable.
So I think I want to do the arms before I do the feet. I think the feet will really determine on if this thing can be freestanding or not. But since I want one of the arms to be outstretched, both of his arms are going to be basically in front of him, which will put weight leaning forward. So I want to get that weight onto the figure first before I determine how I should place the feet. I don't want to make the feet too big or too small and then put the arms on and then that shit starts tipping left or right or leaning whichever way. We'll do arms and then feet, and then we'll try to make the Mizu. Oh, Mizu had an idea. He said I should make this guy be building this guy. So have the model making a smaller model of himself, which I thought, like, that could be something. I don't know. I think I still want to go with the idea of the painter.
Get fast and accurate forecasting with Mobi AI.
So, yeah, he's way, way bigger than the original design. Like, way bigger.
I want you to remember this because I feel like people are not appreciating how hypocritical it is that he's now trying to struggle session Megyn Kelly because, we get Fuentes on the show when the Daily Wire position in 2024 was that their CEO could talk to Nick Fuentes publicly, praise Nick Fuentes publicly, and also invite Nick Fuentes onto the Daily Wire platform. Now,
it's pretty ironic, right? But it's not just that. It was the Daily Wire's position that you can platform genocidal maniac Netanyahu, throw him softball questions all day, and boast about it, and then double down on Israel's atrocities. And guess what? Netanyahu is guilty of far more crimes than Nick Fuentes, whatever you think of him, ever was. For impure thoughts, they say this guy is just beyond the pale. But we get to interview and just lob the easiest questions and just fawn over this maniac, this bloodthirsty mass murder of the Daily Wire Netanyahu. And it's not just Netanyahu, it's, trans kids activists. And, you had communist being debated by these people too. None of those people are beyond the pale. So they're setting the Overton window in the same way that the legacy liberal establishment wants it to be set. This is the Uniparty. This is the Zionist plan to try to retake this narrative that they just lost with the public.
Now, another point that I'd like to make is a stunning hypocrisy again and again when you stop and you consider that he's pressing Meghan and referring to this as an evil, the thing that I never said or did. The same Ben Shapiro that roots the destruction of Gaza on. He supports and congratulated Randy Fine, who has literally tweeted laughing at photos of dead Palestinian babies. But I guess Tucker Carlson speaking to Fuentes is just so much worse than celebrating, and not just celebrating, interviewing a man who is committing an actual genocide.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
That's what that's for debate. That's what they're trying him for. Bibi Netanyahu is committing a genocide, and Ben Shapiro sat down with him last month. I think he pressed Bibi Netanyahu on the point of the genocide. I don't understand how you can just go out there with your hair on your chest and you're just like, yeah, how dare you not make a comment, Meghan, about Tucker Carlson? How dare you not make a comment? I care now about Charlie Kirk now that he's dead. I care about him and what's happening. Kim's trying to find out who killed him. That's evil.
Striking hypocrisy is.
Yeah, I want them to be holding the paint.
Awakening of the noticing continues, and it's over stuff like this. Their tactics are backfiring so spectacularly when they don't even see the hypocrisy of their own, judgment and their own machinations. I totally agree with Candace. The only thing I'll push back at is they're not charging Netanyahu in Israel with committing a genocide. They're charging him with fraud and corruption, and he would have gone down for that. That was a major political scandal in Israel, and I think 2022 and 2023, maybe even earlier than 2022. He was going to go down for that. Those charges are still on the table. They've just been delayed as Netanyahu unfurls this genocide in Gaza and attacks 7 of his neighbors and then says, hey, we need an 8th front. That's propaganda in America. It's just been delayed. That's what they're charging him under. The government of Israel, I hate to say, is totally kind of on board with his plans in Gaza. It's horrifying, but that is the truth. There are dissidents within Israel. They're few and far between.
You're lying. You lie when you have nothing left. The question becomes, what has been actually doing here? Because it's certainly not principled. Everything was that fed. It's actually also risky behavior when it comes to Ben Shapiro. Like, he doesn't usually come out of the gate like that. And I think a couple of things are driving this unforced error. One, I do believe that he is actually scared of Nick Fuentes, okay? I think that fear comes from guilt. Nick's backstory, don't care what you think about him, you already know I don't like Nick Fuentes. This is how he treated me. But the backstory is compelling. And learn the backstory listening to Jeremy Boring, former CEO of Daily Wire, sit down with Nick right after I've been fired, and I didn't know what Ben and Jeremy admitted that they did to him. And so I think if you artificially push somebody out of the market, and Ben has never come out and denied anything that Nick Fuentes has said, also Jeremy Boring seemed denied in a conversation with him, so we have to assume the story is true. And given what I know about what happens now, I think, and what Charlie was going through, I think we can all realize that Nick was an 18-year-old kid, like he told Tucker, and now the whole world knows his story. He started asking questions about Israel, and he got artificially pushed out of the market when he had his whole life ahead of him, okay? And now, when they did this because they wanted to rid themselves of Nick Fuentes, who then became angry about it, and definitively has said very offensive things on the internet, but also he was 18, 19 years old. Now you see him on Tucker Carlson, and I think makes him uncomfortable.
Is your POD business stuck with no sales? Create designs like 6-figure sellers with Kittle. With Kittle's vector tools, you can create fully unique designs in any style. Illustrate with precision, customize shapes with ease, and combine elements like a pro, no experience needed. Need inspiration? Search premium templates, assets, fonts, or use Kittle AI to make your own. From ideation to creation in minutes. Turn your custom design into best-selling products like keys, mugs, totes, stickers, and so much more. Join 10 million creators using Kittle to design everything you want in one place. Click the link and use Kittle for free today.
All right, I'm gonna take a bathroom break real quick.
civil texting has made it so you can't save lots of hours, lots and lots of hours that have been spent sending text manually.
It sure does. That's probably an understatement. I generally agree with Candace. Look, what we have here is Ben Shapiro, who's fearful of facing a debate opponent who's formidable on the Israel issue. And that would be Dave Smith or Nick or someone else that's very studied in this, Norman Finkelstein. They would all mop the floor with him because he doesn't care about the truth about Israel's past, the perverted nature of this relationship. He doesn't even seem to talk about the history of it much because it's indefensible. It's indefensible on the basic tenets of morality outside of libertarianism or non-interventionist foreign policy. It was a massive land grab, stealing property from people and redistributing it to others on a global scheme, on a global level, supported by the US and UK predominantly. So his complaint that this just legitimizes Nick Fuentes. It's like, if I was to debate Nick Fuentes, it's like, what are you talking about? That wouldn't even legitimize you, and Nick is so much bigger than you now in Rumble. You're losing your influence. He's gaining it. People are turning away from the Israel First narrative. Yeah, you still have some viewership, but you are being knocked down pegs by people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes, who, if he wasn't banned from YouTube, he'd probably have more followers than you, by the way. I think he has 5 million on Rumble right now. So that would legitimize Nick Fuentes. No, Nick Fuentes has arrived regardless of what you think and regardless of whether you like it. That's just the truth.
I think we're in Harry Potter, right? And Lord Voldemort thought he killed the baby, and the baby maybe lives. I don't even know who the Dark Lord is in the story, but I do know. I don't even know who he must not be named is in the story, but I do know that with Ben and Nick Fuentes, it's kind of a neither can live while the other survives, and Nick Fuentes seems to have survived, okay? Without advertisers, without sponsors, without connections, with the entire media writing things about him, being put on the ADL's list, he has proven to be quite resilient. And it is in large part due to how hard they fight him that people become curious. It's like we're watching kids be bombed. Like how many people have lost their lives in Gaza, and you're telling me the greatest evil is Nick Fuentes? I'm sorry, I think I can survive Nick Fuentes insulting me. I don't feel the need to wheel and deal behind the scenes or tell Tucker not to post. I just don't care. It's just really not my business. I'm like Megan, I just don't care.
Totally agree with her, and I think this shows such maturity from Candace Owens, knowing she has a personal beef with Nick Fuentes, but yet she's just acknowledging the truth that Nick has arrived, whether you like it or not. Ben just pretends that all of Fuentes' followers and all people that lend him credence, at least on the Israel issue, have just been compromised by Qatar. No, we saw genocide play out in front of our eyes. It's killed over 100,000 people. That's why Nick has arrived. So to hear Candace acknowledge this is totally accurate. This is just what's going on here.
Okay, if somebody wants to be a fan, they can be a fan of Nick Fuentes. I sense an insecurity here in the fact that 10 years on from when Ben had this thing that happened to Nick Fuentes that he tells a story about, now Nick Fuentes is still here, and Ben's influence is waning. It just factually is. Okay?
It is.
The other thing that's happening here, and this is on the point of Megyn Kelly and going back to the making it sound like Ben's got a popular position about me. I sense that the pro-Israel lobby is on the brink of collapse. They are desperate for allies, right? And they're so desperate for allies that they're forcing them away. They're doing it to Megyn Kelly, right? In the world right now, they are willing to lie to get what they want, and is lying right now to get what he wants. And for whatever reason, the pro-Israel lobby believes that this repeat failed strategy of lying and threatening people works.
Yeah, it's not. I'm totally with her there. Now, I clarify. I think the pro-Israel influencers are on the brink of collapse. I don't think the pro-Israel lobby is quite on the brink of collapse. Yeah, American opinion has turned en masse against this catastrophic, unholy union between the United States and Israel. It won't play out in our politics for some time. Certainly not in 2028. I don't think so. Maybe in a decade, because all demographic shifts are showing that. But the Zionist influencers are losing credence, are losing influence, are losing pull on our American politicians gradually. That is true, and that is why they're acting so desperate. And it is backfiring. I think that's the best point, is where are the Zionists out there that are taking a look at this as it's playing out as this is just completely losing Israel ground in this propaganda war, in this war for information and the information that would lead people to the truth and discard this relationship. Where are those Zionists saying, Ben, Mark, Randy, what are you doing? This isn't working. We need to retool. We need to try something else. I just don't see those voices. They're all hysterical, thinking that a Holocaust is around the corner, but denying the Holocaust playing out in Gaza. That's where these people are at.
Now, you might be asking, well, how is Megyn Kelly being threatened here? Exactly. What Ben just did on stage, that is exactly the moral blackmail that Charlie was speaking about in the last days of his life, okay? Is morally blackmailing Megyn, right? He's sitting across from her. The threat is her reputation. He's standing there and he's saying, Candace is attacking a grieving widow and accusing her of murdering Charlie Kirk. Will you disavow this evil on the spot? These fake people going, woo, yeah. And you can see Megyn's uncomfortable, but she's like, well, did she say that? Man, like, maybe that is evil. Like, does that happen? Double down. He's like, yes. She said, Seth Dillon murdered Charlie Kirk. Will you disavow this evil on the spot? Is moral blackmail. Are you a better person than to accept Candace Owens, who has attacked a grieving widow and is saying to that grieving widow that you murdered your own husband? Is moral blackmail. Now, speaking of what, everything that you just saw happen here, and Megyn Kelly, I hope you see this. Truly, you guys, send this clip to her. This is really important. It is pre-planned, not organic. The supporters are not organic. The questions are not organic.
The truth, it's moral blackmail. So beyond the lies that Shapiro told that he did, they're provable. She hasn't said that. And I guarantee if she actually had said that Erica Kirk or Seth Dillon was responsible for Charlie Kirk's murder, Ben Shapiro would tweet that. He would tweet that clip. And guess what? He hasn't. Oh, that must be a coincidence that he hasn't tweeted it. No, it's because she didn't do it. And he is such a megalomaniacal manipulator to try to draw his friend, Megyn Kelly's friend, right? She considers them both friends, and she doesn't take a side in this, per se. You know, again, whether you think that's right or wrong, I have my own opinion. I do think it's worthy to take a side in this. But Ben Shapiro's trying to manipulate Megyn Kelly to her side via falsities and manipulate her into denouncing Candace Owens, like struggle sessions try to get people to denounce what is right or wrong. This is exactly what's playing out. It's pretty crazy to see this play out in the right when, you know, conservatives, I think, rightly pointed out the absurdity of the liberal establishment doing this. Like, you can't platform or talk to this person. And, you know, the conservatives saying, well, you're a snowflake for that attitude. You should debate the issues on their merits and let the chips fall where they may. That's how Ben Shapiro himself got his political rise, speaking on college campuses. Facts don't care about your feelings, right? Well, in this case, they don't care about your feelings, Ben. The facts are you're a liar, you're a Zionist, your side's losing the grip on the American populace. It'll be a while until it plays out politically, but you are losing that grip. And I'm here for every moment of it. But I do want to hear from what you guys think. Let me know down below. Is Candace Owens right about this? Is the pro-Israel lobby just losing its stranglehold on American politics? Are they on the brink of collapse? Is it just the influencers? Are they going to succeed in trying to take Tucker Carlson down? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to Candace Owens. Awesome segment. Great job, Candace. Keep fighting for this. Really appreciate you. And if you're watching this and you want to help support the channel, please consider becoming a YouTube member. You can do that by clicking the join button below. And if you do that, I will give you the benefit of getting access to all of my videos that are members only right now before they go live to the general public. You'll immediately be able to see all of those videos. Also, if you want a free copy of my first book, Compact for the Republic, click the link in the description below. It'll shoot you out to a site, plug in your email. I'll send it right to you just for free via PDF form. No obligation there. And until I see you guys next time, no more war, no more debt, no more inflation, and no more empire. Peace out, guys. Catch you in the next one.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading usher. Shh, hush up back there. Oh, I might have just said the hushing word. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
mean we don't cancel people. We canceled David Duke. We canceled pornography on TV. We cancel stuff all the damn time.
The main agent in that normalization is Tucker Carlson, who is an intellectual coward, dishonest interlocutor, and a terrible friend.
So to see someone lie or speak in a way that's dishonest but totally unmoored from physical reality is always bewildering. You're like, but no, that's not, I said the opposite. Right? And you realize, of course, it's not about you or what you said. It's about something bigger.
Can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. And of course, anti-Semitism should be condemned. The Heritage Foundation didn't become the intellectual backbone of the conservative movement by canceling our own people or policing the consciences of Christians. And we won't start doing that now. We will always defend truth. We will always defend America, and we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson, who remains, and as I have said before, always will be a close friend of the Heritage Foundation.
Was Kevin Roberts. He's the president of the Heritage Foundation, and now he's facing a tidal wave of backlash for refusing to disavow Tucker Carlson, who recently interviewed Nick Fuentes. More in a moment, but Jake, what are your 2 cents here?
You might see Kevin Roberts in the next administration because that was a super smart political move. I'm going to explain why a little bit later. But the civil war that it has started within the Republican Party is amazing, and that's what we're going to tell you about first.
So the Heritage Foundation is the powerful conservative organization behind Project 2025. Carlson actually started his career there as a fact checker, proofreader, and writer back in the 1990s, and Roberts and Carlson are now close friends. But after his interview with Fuentes, the Heritage Foundation faced calls to publicly condemn Carlson. Before we get any further, here is what Tucker had to say about Fuentes' anti-Semitic views. Take a look.
My Christian faith tells me that there's no such thing as blood guilt, and virtue or sin is not inherited. It's not a feature of DNA. So every person must be assessed individually as God assesses each person individually. And that's like a foundational view. So it's great to criticize and question like our relationship with Israel because it's insane and it hurts us. We get nothing out of it. I completely agree with you there. But the second you're like, well, actually, it's the Jews. First of all, it's against my Christian faith. Like, I just don't believe that, and I never will, period. And second, then it becomes a way to discredit. I was like, this guy's a Fed. What I do think is bad, just objectively bad and destructive, is the all Jews are guilty or all anybody is guilty of anything, because that's just like not true. And we don't believe that as Christians.
But at other points in the conversation, Fuentes was allowed to peddle anti-Semitism unchecked, so it was a mixed bag. Now, here's more of Roberts explaining why the Heritage Foundation will not be turning its back on Carlson. Take a look.
My loyalty as a Christian and as an American is to Christ first and to America always. The interest of the United States to cooperate with Israel and other allies, we should do so with partnerships on security, intelligence, and technology. Doesn't. Should feel no obligation to reflexively support any foreign government, no matter how loud the pressure becomes from the globalist class or from their mouthpieces in Washington. The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division. Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right. Agree with, and even abhor, things that Nick Fuentes says. Canceling him is not the answer either.
Roberts' video was met with bipartisan outrage. Senator Ted Cruz stated, if you sit there with someone who says Adolf Hitler was very, very cool and that their mission is to defeat global Jewry and you say nothing, then you are a coward and you are complicit in that evil. Senator Mitch McConnell wrote, the intellectual backbone of the conservative movement is only as strong as the values it defends. Last I checked, conservatives should feel no obligation to carry water for anti-Semites and apologists for America-hating autocrats, but maybe I just don't know what time it is. As for the Democrats, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wrote, While not surprising, coming from the home of Project 2025, this statement from the Heritage Foundation is deeply disturbing. An embrace of anti-Semitism and white supremacist conspiracy theories, all while trafficking anti-Semitic conspiracy theories of globalist powers that control U.S. policy. Every person who has aligned itself with the Heritage Foundation, including elected officials, must disavow this dangerous mainstreaming of these hateful ideologies. Even Heritage Foundation staffers chimed in. One simply posted this meme: "Nazis are bad." The director of Heritage's Economic Policy Institute and Federal Budget Center responded to that post, saying, "Evidently a truth that is never more than one generation away from being forgotten." As for Fuentes himself, he responded to Robert's video as well, writing, "I don't know what exactly you abhor about my views, but we can all agree that free speech, Christ, and America first should be the pillars of our movement. Thank you for your courage in standing up for open discourse and defending Tucker against the Israel first woke right." And I don't want to speak for Kevin, but I assume it's the part where he said, "All the perfidious Jews must be executed," that Hitler had aura, or his downplay of the Holocaust. But Jake, what do you think of the Heritage Foundation's stance in wading into this conversation overall?
Yeah, I think this is fascinating. So let's deal with what happened first, and then we'll talk about the ramifications for Republicans, conservatives, MAGA, etc. Is Nick Fuentes an anti-Semite? Well, of course he is. I mean, look at the quotes that Jordan just read you. There's no question about it. And before, he didn't even hide it. He's now beginning to, halfway say, well, not exactly. No. That's not anywhere near good enough. Okay. So then is Tucker an anti-Semite because he didn't challenge him? Why do they keep saying he didn't challenge him when we just showed you the tape of him challenging? And he argued against Nick Fuentes about saying it's about the Jews. Literally, no one is mentioning that. So you can say this thing that Jordan said, hey, but in other parts, he didn't challenge him enough. Okay, that gives you some context, and that's a fair point. He made a defense of Tucker Carlson made a defense of Jewish people, and they're making it sound like he said, oh, Nick, you're so right, I hate the Jews too. With your own eyes, you heard it with your own ears. Okay, now, Schumer used the words must disavow, right? But McConnell and Ted Cruz, all of a sudden, they all agree. They all have AIPAC donors, but I'm sure that that's a coincidence. I know the Republicans and Democrats never agree. Oh, what? Hell, that's funny. In this case, they do agree. We should all bow our heads to Israel. Look, overall, the Tucker distinction that we showed on tape here earlier in this video, which is, to me, it's not close and it's super easy. It's definitely not the Jews. There is no such thing as the Jews because Jewish people are an enormous variety of human beings like all the rest of us. Some are plumbers, some are dentists, some are physicists. And no, the Mossad and Netanyahu does not call all of them and get their permission and involve them in their plots, right? On the other hand, is Israel a government? Of course, right? Does a government look out for its own interests? Well, it doesn't, not because our politicians are bought. But normally, yes, the government looks out for its own interests, and Israel is looking out for its own interests. And so as it does that, does it have allies here in America that give money to 90% of Congress? Yes. Does that include Ted Cruz, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell? Yes. Does that include almost everyone, both in politics and media, that are now going, this is outrageous. Everyone must be disavowed. Everyone must be eliminated that opposes Israel. I mean Jews. So we've been through this, and you've seen me on debates on this show and other shows. We say Israel, they say Jews. We say Israel, they say Jews. We say, please, no, not Jews, not Jewish Americans. We don't want anyone attacking them. We're just talking about a foreign government. They go, no, you mean Jews. Okay, so that's what you're getting, guys, is all these corrupt politicians, all of the corrupt media are trying to hide behind Jewish people and say, oh, if you're attacking Israel, or even just mildly criticizing Israel, you were attacking these Jewish human shields that we put all around us. No. Nick Fuentes actually does attack Jewish people. You heard the quotes. And so, I mean, if he's saying he doesn't against Jews. That's absurd. I mean, he's on tape. He's all over tape doing it, right? But Tucker doesn't. Other critics of Israel don't. They say, oh, they use coded language. Guys, okay. We've shown you some coded language in the past, and Republicans are usually not that subtle about their coded language. But now we're at coded language that we think might be about Jewish people, even though he never said it, and he's criticizing Israel. So, okay, can any of these guys, Jordan, do the simple thing that we're doing, which is to say, hey, you know what, Tucker's critique of Israel's perfectly fine. We get it, of course, right? And you know, here's our opinion on Israel, and some things we like, dislike, etc. But hey, we're a little worried he didn't challenge Fuentes enough in other parts of the interview. No, literally no one has done that in power. They all just make it seem like Tucker Carlson agrees with Fuentes. They all hate Jews. And the only reason they're criticizing beloved Israel, because they're such terrible, evil, hateful people, right? So I'm tired of it. Okay, to me, now the most important part, Jordan, is, okay, but who's going to go on which sides? So because Heritage Foundation is a monster, right, in a couple of meanings of the word. I mean, they did Project 2025. We can't stand that, right? They're for money in politics. Can't stand it, etc. But they're a giant within the conservative circles. And so now you have Tucker and Candace and Heritage Foundation and a whole heap of other people, right, on one side. And on the other side, you have all of the official people in mainstream media and politics, etc. This one's close. I think that the people in Washington have no idea what's about to hit them. No, the base is going to go with Tucker. They're not going to go with Mitch frickin' McConnell. They're not going to go with Ted Cancun Cruz. So I think these guys are in la la land, Jordan. I don't think they have any idea what's going on to their base.
I mean, I agree, but for a different reason. I think what's dangerous here, because Tucker let in not just this interview, but many interviews on his show, and then also on his show on Fox, he has explicitly himself pushed anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. He blamed Jews and refugee resettlement in 2018 after the Tree of Life synagogue shooting, which was explicitly the motive there. He has pushed and name-checked the Great Replacement anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. In this interview, Fuentes said that Jewish types, quote, were behind the Iraq War. Tucker said nothing. In July of this year, he had a historian on his show to say that the U.S. was on the wrong side of World War II, and actually Churchill was the great villain of World War II and downplayed the Holocaust. I mean, I think for me, it's, yes, he's not pushing back on this, but also as someone who's watched his career and watched and listened to the things he said for a very long time, unfortunately, to the detriment of my mental health, I know what he's about. And he does this kind of wink and nod, and he code switches depending on who he's talking to. He can dabble in it when he's with a historian and hype this guy up. But when he knows the situation that Fuentes is in and Nick Fuentes' public persona, he'll give him a little bit, but when it gets a little bit too far, then all of a sudden it's his Christian faith. He's had no problem blaming Jewish people for other problems in society for years. He just knows, juxtaposed with Fuentes, he's in a position to make himself look better. The question for me is, why even bother having him on? This is someone who called for the extermination of Jews, who when talking about the Holocaust said that 6 million cookies, I'm not buying it, who has repeatedly said, I'm just like Hitler. Hitler had aura. He said blacks need to be in prison for the most part. He said Jim Crow was better for them. It's better for us. In March 28th of this year, said that Jews are running society. This is Fuentes. Women need to shut the F up. Blacks need to be in prison, and we would live in paradise. That's not somebody I care about. That's not somebody whose opinions I want to learn more about. The only reason he's doing this is because it's going to piss people off and it'll get him views. And if that's how you're engaging in the public arena, you just are looking for hate views and ultimately monetizing on that hate. To me, that's a reflection of your moral character and not somebody who's really curious about someone's viewpoint or ideology.
So I'm going to ask you a question, Jordan. It's a very earnest question. So first, look, you gotta make distinctions. First of all, Tucker has, you say blame things on Jews. I totally get what you're saying. I just don't want the audience confused. He never said Jews. He implied it heavily, is what Jordan is saying in those instances. And so do I agree with everything that Tucker's done? Not by a long shot, even on this topic. So like that World War II revisionist history, I don't get it. I don't agree at all, right? I don't think Tucker Carlson was attacked by demons. Sorry, I don't, okay? So there's plenty of things that I don't agree with Tucker on. The Iraq War, so Fuentes says Jews. That's not true. Dick Cheney, John Bolton, so many of the neocons are not at all Jewish. But did they do it partly for Israel? Yeah, I think they did it partly for Israel. Iraq had literally nothing to do with us, and they were number one enemy of Israel. And now Iran has nothing to do with us, but they're the number one enemy of Israel. So the idea that Israel does not control our government is absurd. The idea that Jews all collectively are controlling people is also absurd. They're both absurd, right? So then my question is, we see Israel dogs, paid lackeys, which is the almost entire establishment, but you can call them any name you like, eliminate opponents of Israel one by one. And that is clear, and they do it to people on the right, they do it to people on the left. So are we supposed to help them eliminate the people on the right, like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, who are actually waking people up on the right about what Israel's doing to not just the Palestinians, but to our government? Are we supposed to say, yeah, great, let's cancel them?
You need easy-to-apply DTF transfers from Ninja Transfers. Any design, any color, on any material. You don't get that with other transfers.
The whole process is super easy from start to finish.
How easy, you ask? We make it so easy with 3 simple steps. Place, press, peel. It even works with an iron. Ninja Transfers are the most resilient and high-end transfers available. Plus, the customer service response time will leave your head spinning. Remember, 90% of orders receive next-day shipping, even on small orders. Click the link to DTF yourself now.
Wait 6 months to get my hands on this thing. This is the weighted Highland cow, and this thing was sold out for 6 months every time I checked. That's what we're supposed to do. He is soft. His body is so soft. There's a different type of soft from what's on his horns and his hooves. Inside his belly, there is a little pouch, and you can remove that and heat it up, or you can cool it down with like in a freezer. The instructions for heating it up, depending on your microwave, are right here. And this thing is also like really thick and well made. It's not like flimsy, and the beads aren't gonna fall out. All his feet are weighted too, so he weighs 4 pounds. Mark my words, because this is gonna go freaking nuts for the holidays. If you don't already have one, grab it now. They also have other animals. They have an elephant, they have cats, they have dogs, they have a copy.
Question to me.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think that we should dismiss the risks. They're talking about Israel, which we happen to agree with. Yes, this government is bad. And oh, hey, here's a Holocaust denier. Oh, hey, here's another Holocaust denier. That's dangerous. Like, you see the consumption, the media consumption pattern there is dangerous. Just because they happen to agree with our criticisms on the government, and then he repeatedly has Holocaust deniers on his show, that is a dangerous pattern.
Okay.
I don't know what the solution is. I'm not saying cancel him. This is just societal backlash, which is for this kind of stuff. I'm not saying that there should be government repercussion. Look, in the free market of ideas, you aren't immune from backlash. That's all this is. No one is saying he should lose his show. No one's saying that he should be fired. He's independent. No one in power is saying, no one meaningful in power. I dismiss all the members of Congress who are just trying to conflate criticism of the Israeli government with everything else. Like, they've got a motive there. But as for audience backlash, individual people are also upset about this. The Heritage Foundation staffers are upset about this. Let's talk about what the audience consumption patterns are here. That's a dangerous pattern when you're saying, hey, think about all this stuff over here with Israel. Here's the guy who's saying that all these Jews should be exterminated. Whoops.
Here's my thought on it. Because it's not an easy question. That's why I asked you. Because what are we supposed to do with this? Where the establishment is purposely conflating Israel and Jews, and it's a super dirty trick, by the way, that endangers Jewish Americans, but they don't care. They love Israel 2,000 times more than they care about Jewish Americans, because Jewish Americans aren't bribing them. Israel's bribing them. My thought is, first of all, I'm not helping anyone eliminate Israel's opponents in America. I'm not going to do it. So, no, I'm not going to disavow, I'm not going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I don't believe in cancel culture, so I don't think anyone should be canceled. I think that they would, if the establishment had their way, Nick Fuentes is easy. They'd cancel Tucker, Candace, us in a second, in 1 second flat. They'd wipe out any show that isn't pro-Israel. So I'm not helping those evil people. And then my answer for Fuentes and Tucker is, do I not have a show? Can I not speak? Okay, Fuentes is 100% wrong about the Jews. Tucker's wrong about being attacked by demons. Whatever the hell attacked him wasn't a demon. Okay? There, wow, that was so hard. That was so hard. Tucker, if he implies things, those dog whistles, etc., I don't like it. The Great Replacement theory, I don't like it. I'm totally opposed to it, right? Oh, on Israel, yeah, I agree with you. Unsolved. Why are they doing this? Why is Mitch McConnell, Cruz, everyone in media doing it? Because they're like, shut him up, he shouldn't be allowed to say these things. No, he is allowed to say these things. It's a free country. Then we fight back on the bad parts where they attack Jewish people. We don't allow them to do that because Jews are our brothers and sisters here, okay? So that's how this country should work, in my opinion. Last thing is, Kevin Roberts is being really smart here. Irrespective of what you think about the policy of it and the morality of it, from a political point of view, because I think Tucker Carlson is the odds-on favorite to win the Republican primary in 2028. At this point, I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't win it. So Kevin Roberts is setting himself up for Secretary of State or some giant role in the Carlson administration. By doing this, he's early to Carlson. This is a big moment where he's stepping up to defend him. And he gets, and why did he do it? Because Kevin Roberts can read the room. The base is already gone. For all the ass kissers of Israel that are saying, oh, no, get back in line. Everybody kiss Israel's ass. It's not going to work. And people like Kevin Roberts have figured that out.
I just watched somebody make $12,000 selling a t-shirt that took them literally minutes to make. They opened up a Kindle, grabbed one of the premium templates that already looked super expensive, just like a designer made it, and they changed a few things, like the text and swapping out the colors to match a trending color palette, and boom, they uploaded it straight to their POD site. No Photoshop, no design degree, just templates that are so good. They're basically pre-sold designs waiting to happen. And the craziest part is they did this with 5 different designs in under 10 minutes total. So let's take a look at how it works. Over here, I'm going to click on merchandise, then t-shirts, and in the template search panel, I'm going to type in camping and then scroll until I find a template that I think is going to fit for me, which let's go with this one. Then in Kindle, I can use a really cool feature called the Quick Replace feature, and I'll find a camper and then hit the Replace button, which perfectly puts it in place. Now I can change my text here. I'm going to have it say Glacier Camping Club instead, and expand this so that it makes a little bit more sense with the layout. And now instead of California, I'm going to have it say Montana instead. Now I can use a really cool feature called the Color Palettes feature, where I can just scroll through and find one that's going to fit for me. Then I can even mock it up using the mock-up tool here in Kindle and see what it's going to look like on a t-shirt just like this. Or I can go over into the search panels in the mock-up and search through a variety of different mock-ups, like this one right here, which looks pretty cool. The POD game has completely changed, and the winners aren't just professional designers anymore.
For 6 months, I've been fighting these bastards, whether it's Tucker Carlson or whether it's Nick Fuentes. What do you mean we don't cancel people? We cancel David Duke. We cancel pornography on TV. We cancel stuff all the damn time. Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system.
Mark Levin openly admitting that he would like to cancel and deplatform Israel critics like Tucker Carlson this past weekend at the Republican Jewish Coalition's Leadership Summit. There's more of this ongoing war within the Republican Party, where that came from. But first, Jank, what are your 2 cents here?
First of all, I appreciate the confession. We cancel people all the time. And here I am in the middle of doing cancel culture, which makes sense because Israel is the king of cancel culture. But we should cancel all Jew haters, whatever that means, and all America haters. I mean, anyone criticizing America or its government, include under Biden. Important questions we got to suss out for what Mark Levin means. But as you're going to see here, the real question is, who's going to win this MAGA civil war? Because they're coming for Tucker, and I have a strong opinion on who's going to win.
Well, there were many speakers at the RJC Summit who slammed Tucker Carlson, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Congressman Thomas Massie over their criticisms of Israel. Carlson's decision to platform Nick Fuentes also made him a target. In fact, Tucker was such a central theme of the weekend that attendees and even speakers carried these signs that read, "Tucker is not MAGA." Mark Levin harped on that allegation during his speech. Take a look.
You don't get to wreck your psychotic, mental, unhinged, Nazi, Klan, jihadist, around American patriotism. You don't get to claim you're MAGA and America first when you're lining up with the Marxists and the Islamists and Hamas and the terrorists. That's not America first. That's sick.
Representative Randy Fine also declared that Tucker is not MAGA during his speech, in part because Tucker criticized Trump's decision to bomb Iran. Later in his speech, Mark Levin, who is literally a radio show host, mocked people like Tucker for thinking their podcasts and radio shows could make a difference in the world. Take a look.
Aren't powerful people? Seriously? These aren't intelligent people. These are lowlives that have platforms. And I just want the anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-West crowd to understand something. You're going to have to come through me and millions of people just like me. And you're not going to make it. You think your stupid little podcast, your stupid little subscription program, or your little TV show, or maybe you have a little radio show, is going to change the world like hell it is, not if I and everybody else have something to say about it.
Jake, that one got me because that's literally Mark Levin's entire career. It's radio shows, TV shows, subscriptions, all of it.
No, but I know exactly what he's referring to. He's saying we have mainstream media, and you have your little podcast and your little TV show and your subscription service. We do, by the way. Hit the join button below just to piss off Mark Levin, okay? If you're watching on YouTube. Everyone else, tyt.com/join. And say, this is for you, Mark. #suck it. Okay, so he's like, what? We bought CBS, we bought TikTok. Okay, we already had CNN reporting through Jerusalem. Okay, and they all have to clear their stories. We have a lady at Meta who confessed. We showed it to you last week. Yeah, we censor all the stories on behalf of Israel. And if you're going to criticize Zionism, we're going to cancel you from Meta. We have all the big players. Now here comes a little podcast. The average American. Well, you're not going to make it. The powerful are going to crush you. That's what he just said. It's amazing. And I love that little thing about, you're not smart. Mark, you think it's smart to announce publicly that you're canceling all Americans who would disagree with Israel? You're bragging about how you own all the major media, and it's us little pipsqueaks, and that you're going to crush us one by one with the mega powerful people on your side. He said, these aren't powerful people. Well, on that one, Mark, you're right. I'm not that powerful. Tucker by himself is not that powerful. Or Dylan or Rogan or Theo Vaughn or Andrew Schultz or Charlemagne or any of these guys. Dave Smith, Glenn Greenwald. Like, we can go on and on. Crystal Ball. No, none of us by ourselves are that powerful. Rando on social media, who's fighting for America first, or any just sanity. American sovereignty. Wouldn't that be amazing for America to be free from sea to shining sea? Yeah, you're right. We're not at all powerful like you, giant donors, and you're the giant owners of these companies that are pro-Israel. My guess is United were more powerful than you. And I know uniting is the hardest thing in the world. Why do you think Mark Levin and Daily Wire and all those guys start endless culture wars? To divide you. Why do you think they're constantly doing propaganda against Muslims and honestly about trans people and this? Where did all the trans stuff come from? Daily Wire, okay? So constantly putting out culture war stuff because they know we can't resist. The left and the right can't resist. They were at each other's throats and they're laughing their ass off. But now it appears, Jordan, that Mark is not laughing his ass off. All of a sudden, he's a little bit worried about our collective power. And they're starting to worry, oh my God, what if the left and the right unite on behalf of America? Our Israel First agenda is in trouble. Well, Mark, you're goddamn right it is. I love that it is. And I'm sick of you and your disgusting friends running our media, running our politics. Yeah, I'm saying it. And it's not Jewish Americans. It's pro-Israel radicals who think, screw this country. This country, I mean, the overwhelming majority of Jewish Americans love this country, love the opportunities, the hopes, the dreams, etc., that America has helped them realize. But a small group of pro-Israel radicals are like, no, everyone has to serve Israel, right? Look at this nonsense garbage he puts out there. These people who are anti-America, anti-Israel, anti-West. No, you made that up. That's a propaganda point. America and Israel are two different countries. They obviously have different agendas, different priorities. And by you putting it in there and putting the West in there, guys, it's such an old trick. You know that, right? Like, oh, you have to give all of your money to Israel. You have to support all their wars. By the way, sometimes you have to fight their wars. And you have to make sure that they could do a genocide. You owe them. You owe them everything. Why? Because Israel is the West. Israel is America. No, Israel is not America. It's not the West. It's Israel. Any other country saying Turkey's the West, Turkey's America, but France is America, France is the like France is the West. At least makes a tiny bit of modicum of sense, right? Israel being the West doesn't even make any sense. They're just making crap up. It's called Hasbara. It's propaganda that the Israelis have been doing here, honestly, for decade after decade, and they never got caught with nonsense talking points like Israel is a special ally. Whenever you ask them, what does that mean? Literally, no one has an answer. Judeo-Christian heritage of the Bible and the Schofield thing and the blah 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 and West, Magna Carta. What? No. The guys like Mark Levin have been controlling our government for a long, long time. But guys, America, I got great news for you. First time they're worried that they are losing control. Here for it. And I love it. And I love to see Mark Levin in a cold sweat panic. We're going to cancel them all, their stupid podcast. We're going to get me, shoot me, you're going to be back in charge. And you're going to give me a show on Fox News even though no one likes me. And on the radio where no one can even listen to me. Because yes, Israel's going to be in charge. Too bad, Mark. Too bad. You're caught. We caught you. And now the rest of your life is going to be devolving into disdainful mediocrity. We're all going to look at you as the pathetic mouthpiece for a foreign government who's trying to rob us blind. And we're going to hate you for it. Mark, good news. We already hate you for it. But also good news, I'm on the left. Ultimately, I will protect everyone, okay? I don't want any violence. I don't want anything physical that will only destroy this movement. Do not help Mark Levin and the others. Never do anything physical and never make it about Jewish Americans. All the people who say that Israel is the equivalent of America, and we need to all serve Israel if we love America. My ass, we do. I got a lot more where that came from, but give me more, Joe.
I think what's really happening here is they are threatened. The power centers, the establishment media, the pro-Israel media figures, they are worried about a democratized media landscape. And they can try to control what people watch. They can try to get shows canceled. But at the end of the day, there's going to be viewer backlash. All you're doing is showing that people have no reason to tune in to your show. So it's going to blow up in their face, and I can't wait for it. But one person who doesn't seem to recognize that is Ben Shapiro, who also got in on this campaign to take Tucker down. In fact, today he devoted his entire show to it, titled Tucker Carlson Sabotages America. He began it with an accurate characterization of Nick Fuentes as an anti-Semitic, sexist bigot, but then pivoted the bulk of his ire towards Carlson and what he called the fragmentation of the political right. Take a look.
The fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes. And that splinter faction is now being facilitated and normalized within the mainstream Republican Party. Agent in that normalization is Tucker Carlson, who is an intellectual coward, a dishonest interlocutor, and a terrible friend. And Tucker Carlson last week was aided, abetted, celebrated for normalizing Nazism within the Republican Party by the mainstay organization of the traditional right, the Heritage Foundation. But most of all, Tucker Carlson acts as an ideological launderer for other people's evils. Tucker Carlson says many inflammatory things, always buying back just enough of it to appear as though he's not saying what he's clearly saying. He'll ask a series of wildly obsequious questions to Nick Fuentes. He'll even let Nick Fuentes' support for Joseph Stalin slide. But he will grill Ted Cruz about the population of Iran.
You know, this is what you think, Cenk, but you get a little bit more, but some points I think were valid there. But he says his concern that Tucker is ruining the Republican Party by laundering the ideas of hateful, undemocratic people. But he also made it clear that one of his biggest gripes is, unsurprisingly, Tucker and his guests' criticism of Israel. He condemned Tucker Carlson for having Israel critics like economist Jeffrey Sachs on. He falsely characterized guests like Sachs as pro-Hamas. He also said Tucker Carlson has spent more time talking about Jews and Israel since Charlie Kirk's death than about the trans-Tifa ideology that motivated Charlie Kirk's killer. What do you make of what Ben Shapiro had to say in that clip?
So first of all, fair show in America. So I agree with you. Was Tucker tougher on Ted Cruz? Yeah, he was. Okay. So fair is fair, right is right. Second of all, I love that he destroyed Ted Cruz. But they all like gloss over the fact that Tucker did make a defense of Jewish Americans and a case against anti-Semitism, and he made a Christian case against anti-Semitism. So you can say, hey, he's winking and nodding. Although it is a strange way to wink and nod by saying all good Christians would not be anti-Semitic. You get a nod? That just feels like he just said the right thing. Okay, you could say, all right, but on other parts he didn't challenge him enough. And all that World War II revisionism drives me crazy, right? So I got no need for that. I got no need for the anti-Semitism, etc. And they're counterproductive, etc. I get it. But at the end of the day, okay, let's go to the core issue, because this isn't really about anti-Semitism. That's just a way to shut you up about Israel, right? If they are they actually worried about anti-Semitism? I think real Jewish people are, right? And I think that they're told nonstop, the world hates you, the world hates you, they're all about to kill you, they're all about to kill you. Oh, you did that, they hate you, he said that they hate you, right? And I think it's really counterproductive, but I get it. And by the way, they were killed a lot throughout history, so I totally get it, right? But that's not why Tucker is going on the warpath. That's certainly not why we're going on the warpath. Why are people talking about Israel so much? Instead of trans Tifa or whatever nonsense that Ben Shapiro made up a minute ago, right? Well, first of all, I tell you earlier in the show, they want to do. You know, they're like, it reintroduced the culture wars. Remember, people hate trans people, hate each other through that war. That way you're divided and we can easily conquer you. And oh, by the way, all Muslims, hating Muslims is a twofer, right? One, you get divided on that. And two, that way when we kill them, you go, oh, here's more money to kill them, Israel. Oh, I love when you hate Muslims. And what's hilarious is I saw his spiel about like, you know, we're against all sorts of hate. We're against hate against black people and women and Hindus. And you want to know the one group he didn't mention? Because they're the ones who drive all the hatred towards Muslims, right? So he's like, please get back to being distracted. You're squirrel. Hey, you can throw all the squirrels you want, man. Nobody's getting distracted. The reason why Israel's so important is I care about the genocide, and I think a lot of good moral people care about the genocide. And so many young Jewish Americans care so deeply about stopping the genocide. And if there's anything to worry about and to be animated by, it's a genocide. In our time, we're paying for it, right? But that's actually, at this point, the number 2 issue. The number 1 issue is American sovereignty, because people have woken up. You can't make them go back to sleep. They see that AIPAC and the Israeli lobby has contributed to 90% of Congress. And that 90% of Congress votes with Israel 100% of the time. 99 Israeli lobby. There's nothing you could do to undo that. We all know it. And we see the mainstream media covering that up day in, day out, day in, day out. No. The Israeli lobby has no influence at all on 90% of Congress. They love Israel. They just happen to get millions of dollars, but that doesn't affect them at all. It's just their huge love for our special ally. And if you question that, you're an anti-Semite, and your life should be ruined, and you should never be allowed in media. When mainstream media does that now, bro, we know the trick, right? You know we're on to, right? And they don't know it at all. They're just still sitting there going, cancel all Americans who dare to oppose Israel. Brother, it ain't gonna work. But I don't know, Jordan, maybe it will work. You know, as I watched it, I thought, yeah, I mean, Mark and his friends have literally billions of dollars. The pro-Israel radicals have an unbelievable amount of money. So they could buy almost all the media companies. And then when you say, but you bought, like Larry Ellison, the biggest contributor to the IDF, like he gives money to the IDF to murder Palestinians as charity. Like, oh, you haven't killed enough Arabs and Muslims. Here, I will charitably give you money. And then he buys TikTok to make sure that he puts the Israeli censors into TikTok. And they say, but you're not allowed to report that. It's actually more control of the media. So no, it's just the cat's out of the bag. And they're trying to desperately get that cat and kill it. It ain't gonna work.
I mean, I think what Shapiro said, some of it resonated with me, that the way Tucker will or will not push back on different subjects, on different topics, is something that we should be concerned about. But, you know, you and I had this debate last week. If people are interested in how we feel about Tucker and Nick Fuentes and that conversation, you can go back on YouTube and look at it. But on this effort to control the media, I think it's going to backfire, because you can buy up outlets, buy up platforms, but new things will always emerge. They'll always pop up. You compared it to whack-a-mole earlier. It's a wasted effort, because you can't control audience behavior. I mean, that has been a frustrating point for the left on YouTube for years. Other than this network and the shows affiliated with it, there really hasn't been much. And you're starting to see things start to pop up, like Midas Touch, you have Brian Tyler Cohen, you have Jack Concharella. Now suddenly these people are popping up. But you can't control people as much as the Democrats want. No, go back to MSNBC. That's dying. The viewership is declining. The right is now experiencing the same problem. People are turning off Fox News, they're turning off OAN and Newsmax, and they're going more to independent creators that they feel like they can trust more. So what you're seeing is this kind of like last desperate attempt by people like Ben Shapiro, who has been funded by fracking billionaires for years, by Mark Levin, who's been associated with Fox News for years. No. Stay with us. Stay with the powerful. Stay with the elites. You can trust us. Do anything but turn to independent voices, independent creators. It's a problem throughout the media and creator landscape. It's not one that they're going to solve by shunning people that they disagree with. And I appreciate you pointing out the one thing that I think we all need to focus on here when they're saying, oh, stop paying attention to Israel. Remember trans people. Why isn't he talking about trans Tifa? All of those debates are there to distract you. And it's not just on this issue. It's on every issue. And Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire were created almost exclusively for that reason, because they don't want you to think about things like climate change, by the rigging of our economy, all of these things that are to your detriment, that the political elite, and especially the Republican Party, are responsible for. So what does the Daily Wire do? Movie reviews, trans investigations, demonizing minorities, immigrants. How many godforsaken Disney movie videos has that outlet put out on YouTube? Oh, the new Disney movie's woke. Oh my God, there's a same-sex couple in Buzz Lightyear. Oh, the Barbie movie's too woke. How does that affect your life? How does that affect your ability to pay your bills? And Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, all of those freaks on the Daily Wire will never talk about those issues in a way that is positive and impacts you, because they want you to be distracted and be distrustful of media outlets or marginalized communities in this country, because that's what their ultimate role is.
Yeah, last couple of weeks here. We got a poll up on TYT.com. Who is going to win the MAGA Civil War? A, Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, B, Tucker Carlson. Okay? So, look, guys, I know some of the things that are going to happen, but at the end of the day, I don't know who's going to win. There's not enough evidence yet. Okay? So, here's what I mean by that. They say Tucker is not MAGA. This effort to paint Tucker Carlson as an Islamic radical, it's not going to work, okay? The idea that Tucker Carlson is some secret Islamist or terrorist or Marxist is beyond preposterous, and no one's going to believe that. In fact, they're kind of, again, overplaying their hands. The Hezbollah is so heavy, so, over the top, that people are like, really? Marxist, that's your new talking point? Brother, go back to your old talking points. That's because this is getting dumber and dumber as we go, right? So no, I don't think they're going to be able to cancel Tucker and Candace. And by the way, now all the independent podcasters, they haven't even gotten to them yet. Wait till they get a load of Tim Dillon, okay? And then they're going to try to cancel him, and they're going to try to cancel Megyn Kelly and Charlie.
The most stylish and comfortable aprons. Chef quality meets your personality with Headley and Bennett aprons. Style that stands up to the heat of the kitchen. Choose from over 50 colors and patterns. Add the perfect finishing touch with custom embroidery. Shop Headley and Bennett aprons today.
Choose from thousands of realistic voices to use in your content. Change the way you record podcasts, voiceovers, and branded content with the #1 AI-powered voice generating technology. Stop searching for the perfect voice and stop wasting time re-recording take after take. Try 11 Labs for free and start elevating your content today.
So, and finally, yeah, but what happens when the elites that Mark Levin is referring to and the establishment with their billions of dollars and almost all of the politicians and almost all of the media come down like a ton of bricks on the rest of us? They're in the middle of doing it now. So we're going to find out who wins at the end, the people or the elites. But this is the actual political, not physical, but this is the actual political civil war to end all other political civil wars of my lifetime. Because this isn't just about MAGA. This is about all of us, right, center, and left versus the elites. honestly, this is the political war I've been waiting for 23 years while we've been doing the Young Turks. It's about time people realize almost all the politicians are crooks. And it's not just Israel. They serve big pharma, big oil, defense contractors, and every donor that buys our bought corrupt politicians. Let's all get up, because we're going to need all of us in order to defeat the Mark Levins of the world, okay? By the way, join the revolution. 8 o'clock Eastern, we're doing a show called The Revolution to teach people left, right, and center, and to do it together. We're crowdsourcing it. So we can show you how to get money out of politics. If we're united, we actually do have enough power to win. It's the uniting part that's hard. That's why they're constantly trying to divide us.
So to see someone lie or speak in a way that's dishonest but totally unmoored from physical reality is always bewildering. You're like, but no, that's not, I said the opposite. Right. And you realize, of course, it's not about you or what you said. Something bigger.
Yesterday, Tucker Carlson explained to Dave Smith why he believes his fellow conservatives are trying to get him canceled. So we'll show you a little bit more in a moment. But first, Jake, your 2 cents, what are they?
Yeah, so look, I've got my issues with Nick Fuentes, but later on in this video, I'm going to show you some examples from others who have said things worse than Nick Fuentes. Was there a campaign to cancel them? And are they right to try to cancel Tucker by proxy because he talked to Fuentes? I have strong opinions there as well.
So here is more of Tucker Carlson explaining what's actually going on with the right-wing civil war, as people like to call it.
Something bigger. And there are a couple things. I mean, the most obvious on a political level, this is a fight over what happens after Donald Trump. What does the Republican Party look like? Does it actually adopt an America First foreign policy as promised 10 years ago? Or does it maintain its neoconservative posture, which is very unpopular with the public and has borne no fruit? I mean, it's been a disaster on every level for the United States for, since 9/11, at least. What happens after Trump goes? And that's what this is about. That's why they're investing the energy in this. That's what the rage is about, because they don't want to lose control of foreign policy. I just can't say it enough. It's about foreign policy. They don't care about domestic policy because they don't care about the United States, but they do care the U.S. Treasury and the Pentagon, the projection of force on behalf of Israel.
For the past several days now, we've covered the growing storm of backlash against Tucker Carlson from his own party. Yesterday, Douglas Murray became the latest conservative to do so. He's now infamous for his debate with Dave Smith on Joe Rogan's show, in which Murray tried to argue that Smith can't comment on Israel if he's never been there. Anyway, Murray wrote the following op-ed in the New York Post, and it reads, "Conspiracy kook Tucker Carlson is no conservative and no friend to Charlie Kirk and J.D. Vance." In the op-ed, Murray points out that Carlson claims to be a friend of both Vance and the late Kirk. In fairness to Murray, Nick Fuentes, who Carlson interviewed last week, was a longtime opponent of Charlie Kirk's, and he's made some genuinely disgusting comments about both J.D. Vance and Vance's wife, Usha Vance. Here's just one example. Take a look.
Why would we let this fat guy who's married to and works for a gay CIA Fed, why would we let him grow? It's like so insane. The J.D. Vance operation is in full swing, man. Think about it. Andrew Tate and Bronze Age pervert and all these people, for years, all they talk about is going to the gym, being a vitalist, fighting the Matrix, India smells bad, all this kind of... We're all in favor of a fat race mixer who's married to his son Vivek, who was mentored by a Jewish neocon and a gay Fed, Peter Thiel, and the guy's in bed with Israel. Your guy? I'm the controlled opposition, really? Your guy is literally a fat gay race trader who married and
That was a lot. All right, so now let's watch Tucker Carlson explain the reason why he felt conflicted about bringing Nick Fuentes on and why he ultimately made the decision to do so.
Oh, I thought a lot about it for many reasons. And for one, Nick had attacked my family, my father, my wife, one of my children, by name, a lot. And so it was hard for me to get over that, you know? For another, as I've said a million times, I thought he was a Fed. But basically, in the end, I decided Nick Fuentes can't be canceled. They've been trying since he was a freshman in college. It doesn't work. In fact, he's gotten bigger. He is enormously talented. Anyone who denies that is lying. And he has like a not fully coherent, but a semi-coherent kind of position. And I would like to hear what it is. That's kind of my job. And I'm also interested because he's the most influential voice for men under 30. He's more influential than me, more influential than you. I don't think there's any question about that. And I wanted to make the point that I often make, and now seems even more important than it ever has, which is that virtue and sin are not transmitted genetically. There is no such thing as blood guilt.
Finally, last one, we're going to end with Tucker Carlson spilling the tea about private conversations that he has had with both Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, who are both now publicly shredding him.
And I talked to, Mark Levin. I talked to him right after Charlottesville. I called Mark Levin and I called Ben and I said, I don't want to fight at all with you. I'm actually not obsessed with Israel. You clearly are, but I do think we agree on a lot of things, and let's not fight. Called them both. I said that. They were both nice to me about it, very nice. And then immediately started attacking me again. Whatever, they can't help themselves. But Levin did say something amazing to me. He's like, everyone hates Jews. There are Jew haters everywhere, and I'm fighting the Jew haters. And it's like, I mean, I guess if you spend your life on Twitter, you run into a lot of Jew haters, but in real life America, like, no, that's not actually, most people are really nice, and there is no Nazi movement building in America. That's just fake. And but they really think Levin believes that.
That, hey guys, let's not fight anymore. But I do wonder, Jake, if all of this infighting, this so-called right-wing Republican civil war, I wonder if this was always just a natural conclusion, the inevitable end for a party that has had so much inherent hypocrisy just baked within it, right? There's a lot of contradictions within the Republican Party and on the right. Perhaps you could say the same about the left, but I think on the right, it's like very, very obvious, very blatant. They say one thing, they do another thing. They'll say one thing one day, they'll say a completely different thing the next day, and then they'll just move on as if nothing has happened or nothing has changed. And I feel like after a certain point, those contradictions are going to start to directly impact one another. And now you have two factions of the party, let's say, roughly two factions that are fighting against each other, and they both believe that they are still right wing. And, they're kind of both right because they both represent some version of what the right has become amidst all of these contradictions. I hope that makes sense. What are your thoughts, Jake?
So first I want to go to one of our members because I want to give him credit because I had forgotten this, and it's a great point. D'Angelo Jones wrote in, he's a YouTube member. Wait a minute, did Trump invite Kanye and Fuentes to the White House? But they bring out the pitchforks for Tucker. So this is not to just blame Trump for having dinner with Fuentes, and Trump says that he didn't know who Fuentes was at the time. I'm not trying to get back into that. But listen to what D'Angelo is saying. He's saying when Trump did that, and Kanye is obviously an anti-Semite, couldn't get more anti-Semitic than him. Fuentes obviously is. They said it's okay. Trump did it, but it's okay. But when Tucker invites Fuentes, they have a completely different reaction. Think about why. If you wanted to protect Jews against anti-Semites, you would have the same reaction, potentially to both, right? But if you only wanted to protect Israel and didn't give a damn about Jewish people, you'd say, oh, since Donald Trump works for Israel, it doesn't matter that he meets with anti-Semites and has dinner with them. Totally fine. We're not worried about it and bothered by it at all, right? But Tucker is against Israel's actions and funding Israel. So all of a sudden, we care so much about Israel. I mean Jewish people. Do you? Doesn't look like it. So Look, I'm going to read a critical comment too in the middle of the story because we do the show with you guys and it's okay. I want to hear your voice too. So at TYT.com, one of our members, Scoopster, wrote in, normalizing Tucker, the new segment from TYT. Gross. Okay, Scoopster, let's talk about it, right? So did Tucker Carlson do a defense of Jewish Americans when Fuentes was on with him? Yes. If you say, hey, it wasn't enough, no problem. Okay, but he did. So the folks who are saying that he, agreed with Fuentes about anti-Semitism, they're just lying that he didn't do that. Okay, so by the way, all of Nick Fuentes' fans also saw that Christian defense of individualism and not blaming the Jews. Okay, but no, I know he's Tucker Carlson, so don't give him credit. Second of all, so Nick Fuentes is a terrible guy. I think it's very fair to call him a bigot. Obviously, I mean, you just saw it with your own eyes, right? You heard it with your own ears. So, but he is at this point very, very popular. That's why people are freaking out because of how popular he's become. So should no one in media do journalism? No one should talk to him? Not talking to him. I get it. So it's not like I think, oh, no, what's the big deal? But I think journalists should talk to him to find out what this is about, don't you think? Okay, no, I know. But if it's Tucker, don't do it. Okay, guys, if I really thought this was about anti-Semitism, I'd go house on it, right? On Tucker. So Fuentes is clear. And if you're a Nick Fuentes fan, don't tell me that he's not bigoted or racist. He says it all the time. He's very proud of it, right? I mean, you just saw it there. G is a racist term for South Asians. So are we supposed to cheer it? Okay, I mean, that's ridiculous. He says, oh, yeah, J.D. Vance is a race mixer. I'm a race mixer. My wife is Chinese, and my kids are half Asian, half Turkish. So, okay, what am I supposed to cheer Nick Fuentes? No, I don't cheer him. Okay, now, having said that, let's look at the other side of the coin. And that doesn't mean this side of the coin isn't true. It is true, okay? But two things can be true at the same time. So first, I'm going to start with graphic 3 here. So I get it. This is a little bit older one, and Ben Shapiro's, sophisticated enough to cover this up later. But you remember, he did tweet, of course, Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue. Hashtag settlements wrong. Oh, well, that sounds as racist or bigoted as Nick Fuentes. So obviously everybody did a giant campaign to cancel Ben Shapiro, right? Wait, I'm hearing from our producers that no one did that campaign because being bigoted against Arabs and racist against Arabs, no big deal in America. Mainstream media has no issues with it. There was no campaign at all against Ben Shapiro at the time. Okay, well, now let's go to President. Let's go to Randy Fine. He's a current sitting member of Congress. He said, tell your fellow Muslim terrorists to release the hostages and surrender. He says to Rashida Tlaib, a member of Congress, your fellow Muslim terrorists. And then he says, until then, hashtag of a way. So he's saying we should continue, Israel should continue to starve all the Palestinians to death, and we should finance it. Now, has Nick Fuentes ever said we should starve all the Jews to death? Now, that doesn't mean that he didn't say other terrible things. He did. But he's never said anything as terrible as Randy Fine. So that's why there's a giant effort in the country to cancel Randy Fine, and anyone that Randy Fine would talk. Wait, I'm here for producers. There is no such effort at all. They're not trying to censure him, sanction him. Everyone's allowed to talk to him. Piers Morgan had him on the other day. I was on with him. No one said, Jake, how could you talk to that disgusting genocidal freak? You should be canceled for talking to Randy Fine. No, because being racist against Arabs, being bigoted against Muslims is considered perfectly acceptable in America. But then they say, if anyone is, anti-Semitic against Jewish Americans, I think that's equally bad to anything else. They say, no, that's the one thing that you should all be canceled for. But wait a minute. Remember the point that our viewer made earlier. But when Trump did it, that was still fine. When Trump talked about the Nazis in Charlottesville, without getting into the controversy of exactly who he supported, how he supported, but there was actual literal Nazis marching in the streets. But that was less of an issue. And what Trump said about it was a big story, but nobody said you should never talk to Trump and you should can't, because it wasn't about Israel. This isn't about bigotry, racism. In fact, let's go to one more clip from Randy Fine and see if we can find someone who is clearly more racist than Nick Fuentes.
The matter is the Palestinian cause.
Yeah, the arms are definitely changing the weight. I mean, the center of gravity of it.
Muslim terror. In World War II, we did not negotiate a
Yeah,
surrender
before the
with the
arms, I
Nazis. We
could
did not
almost
negotiate a
stand by
surrender with the
myself.
Japanese. We nuked the Japanese twice in order to get unconditional surrender. That needs to be the same here. There is something deeply, deeply wrong with this culture. And
So I'm going to call this piece. This sculpture is going to be called "Even Cardboard Can Be a Canvas." Right? Right? Even cardboard can be a canvas.
Has ever said that there's something deeply wrong with the Jewish culture, it must be defeated, and we should nuke it twice. We should try to nuke all the Jews in America. No, he's never said that. That doesn't mean that what he said isn't terrible. I'm going to say now for the third or fourth time, because people love to do smears, he has said many, many terrible things.
Man,
but none.
This
as
company's doing a
terrible
super number
as
on me this morning. That's
disgusting
fucking-
racist
this is
and
my
bigot
third back
Randy
picture.
Fine. Yet there is no campaign to cancel anyone over Randy Fine or talking to Randy Fine. So can you begin to see now, this isn't about people's concern about bigotry. This is a concern about their beloved Israel that's financing almost all of Washington, apparently a ton of the media, and they demand complete loyalty and subservience to Israel. So as Tucker Carlson fights back against that, no, I am not going to attack him for that. Sorry. Like, if you want to have me disagree with him on a million other things, great. I do it all the time on the show, right? But if you say, no, you have to cancel Tucker along with Fuentes, okay, the minute we all cancel every single person who's ever talked to Randy Fine. That's not going to happen because the powerful in this country are enormous bigots. They hate Muslim people. They don't really particularly care about Jewish people, too. They care about the money that's coming from Israel. But let's get to Douglas Murray's school music again.
Yeah. You know, I think what's interesting about the right is that they have for so long, for the most part, stuck with the same talking points. And I think that's a big part of the reason why they've been able to galvanize so much support amongst Americans. They haven't had as much of the infighting that the left has kind of become notorious for. We love to attack our own. That's not saying anything controversial even to say that. But in media, it does get tricky, especially today, right? The days of corporate mainstream media dictating the narrative are long, long gone, for better or for worse. You know, we live in a world where people like Nick Fuentes, people like me for that matter, can gain access to the public, can have public platforms, they can gain public support for viewpoints that may or may not be popular in the mainstream, again, for better or for worse. So then the question becomes, you know, is it something about regulation? Is it about censorship, or is it about freedom of speech, freedom of press, allowing people to have access to people? And the thing is, I don't necessarily agree that we shouldn't speak to one another of people who are inflammatory, who use, you know, racial slurs just very, very casually. But there is, you know, the question of platforming these people. The thing is, the argument is always that, you know what, they already have a platform, they're already out there. And at some point, but you know, Jank, I know whenever we're putting together these shows, like these are conversations that we have with the production team is, you know, what is the benefit of these stories? And sometimes you kind of have to weigh it, right? Is this something that is now culturally relevant that it would be irresponsible not to speak about, or are we amplifying a voice that we would rather not be amplified, right? And it's hard because, again, it's like how much of that is censorship and how much of that is just like we're reporting the news to the American people and to our audience, to these people who trust us to report these certain things to them. And the flip side of that, or another aspect of it, I should say, is that the mainstream news, right? They are covering everything pertinent to the White House, to Donald Trump, to Congress, things like that. And they are busy. They are inundated with all these stories. They just don't have a lot of time to talk about the stories that we tend to talk about on these shows and on similar shows. too much out there. So it
Need to
becomes a
shorten
matter
this
of
a
like
little
personal
bit.
responsibility, and also like that line, like where do you draw your personal line, or where does your network draw that line as far as like who are we talking to?
I'm
How
eyeballing
are we
everything,
talking to
people.
them?
I have
do
not
think
used
so,
a ruler
that
since I've started
it is
this
important
shit.
to have people.
So
you know,
this is very
Jake, I haven't talked
organic.
to you since we went on.
I'm gonna call it
what was that,
organic.
Piers Morgan's show.
Of
With
the
Stephen
way
Miller's
that I'm
wife,
putting
you
this
know,
together.
I think it was important
You know,
for
we're
the
not
two of you
we're
to be
not
on that screen
too
together
big on measurements
and
and
to
shit
propose
right now.
that
You know what I'm
that
saying?
way.
Eyeball everything like a motherfucking dime bag of weed. Eyeball that shit, man. So I think maybe here, just cut it, just like that. Okay. It's getting harder to manipulate everything now. Maybe I should have built shit separately and then put it together, because now I gotta do this twist and turn to get to where I need to be. Which sucks a little bit. Yeah, okay. Correct. Come on up here. Haha. Okay. Yeah. If we put a hand on this thing. Now, how do I make a hand? You gotta make a hand some kind of way. Even cardboard can be a canvas. You know? Damn it. Maybe I should have kept it long like it was shit. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll just use this for something else. Let me make it wide again like it was. Maybe a little bit wider. Right, maybe that might be on to something. Maybe. Oh, don't drop everything. Okay, let's try this again. Because I might be able to. Right, if I do that, right. What the hell am I thinking about this morning? Okay. All right, I'm gonna do. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying my hardest. Hold on. This might be it. I don't know. I'm gonna just go ahead and do this, and then if I have to redo it, we'll make another one. But just to see, this might work like this way. Right. Lindy say she got a Cardi B poster on the wall in the bedroom. Got that Cardi B poster. Okay, so I'm thinking if I do it like that, right? So that'll be the back of the hand and the part of the wrist. I need to, gonna have to chop this. Oh, what was I thinking? Well, let me secure this. Right. And this is gonna go in there. Right. Okay, so Okay. Now if I can get this in there, like, okay, so how would I would have to do this slit. Okay, all right. Stay right there, buddy. So now I'm gonna have to slit a little bit up like this. But then it'll probably be easier. This. See, I'm about to knock that shit over. So now. Okay. Uh-oh. Is that what I was thinking? Maybe. You know what? That might actually work. Measure twice, cut once. But what if I ain't got no measuring devices? What if I ain't got no measuring devices? Hey. Okay. We can definitely see the hand. Now, how are we going to make phalanges? All right, so how do I hold a paintbrush? If I'm painting, I'm holding the brush like this. Right? So I need the thumb and index finger. So I need the thumb, index finger. So back to that little piece that I messed up. So would that be? That be the fingers? Like that. Then I would need to cut the finger. Cut the first finger from here. Right? That might work too. Everything I'm doing working on the first try. Yo, the group chat going off this morning. Okay. This is some random shit. I don't know what the homies just sent me in the group chat, man. So, oh, I missed one. Just these are my friends, I guess.
Right, Jada's bus is here. Whoa. Right, Jada's bus is here.
That's
Whoa.
crazy. That's so disrespectful.
Man, it would do me a bit down. I don't know if it can happen now, but man, I never had you bust a verse on my show, bro. Okay.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my God, you could.
What the hell yeah? We got a real DJ too.
What beat you got over there? You got a beat? Slow it down a little bit. There was smoke when the mother's water broke. The dots on the horns, oh my God, it's a goat. The nurse cut the cord, got shot with 1,000,000 volts. Homer stopped him on the floor, but the baby started to float. The umbilical cord turned into a gold rope. Mike appeared in his hand, his body started to jolt. Angels injected him with lyrical dope. Same drugs they gave Hemingway and Edgar Allan Poe. The whole world's waiting for the baby the bell tolled. Crowd gathered around throwing punches and elbows. Then his mama arose and recited a poem. Taught a hip-hop god, fuck rock and roll. Put his baby in the whip, there was a solar eclipse. And the spirit came, wrote his name down in hieroglyphs. Break beats played, he had a speaker for a trick. She screamed, Jack the Rip, and ignited his gifts. To the parents, he's a legend, to the children, a myth. Here's some first-hand experience of Mr. Smith. Alias, Mr. Killing every rapping in his radius. Ciphers the stadiums, problems, vibranium. Molecular structure of the nucleus of his cranium. Platinum, uranium, lyrical titanium. In other words, whoever is concerned, if you fuck around with pride, you gon' get that ass. Turn to ash, true story, walking crematorium. Helping rappers learn obituaries from historians. Banging on them, yellow tape and white sheets laying on them. Carved hair, tombstones praying for them. Moving the chess pieces like telekinesis. As a toddler, he walked with 2 panthers on leashes. Learned early on where to mark the pieces. By the time he hit puberty, he's looking at creases. Slicking in Odysseus. It's part of me, so part of me, yet it's harder to follow me. What does that mean? He's a mythological melanated progeny of royalty, spraying you with soliloquies. Kill Heron with the camouflage gear on. Ignorance is a virus, my inches to interfere on. The last poet, revolutionary with guns loaded. Back to elevate the culture, that's my only motive.
All right, now can I get this glued all in? Oh, can I get this all glued down so that it stays? So where's the most contact? I'll just have to hold it right there. Shit. Oh my God. Come here, bro. Stay right here, bro. Just like that. Right. No. There you go. Stay right there. Don't move. So I want it to be kind of like this. Okay? Bring it down a little bit. Like that. Okay, he got some hands and fingers going on. Who's texting me? Oh my God, bro. Is you working or not, nigga? Why is you in the bro? Is you even at work today? What are you doing?
How you guys doing? I have a really odd request. Is that okay? Will I be able to use this for later? No, for me.
Hell no. No, dude.
No.
How was you even going around doing some shit?
No, I thought you were respectful if I asked first.
But you shouldn't even be doing that. You be doing it.
But don't tell. No. Come on, man. Ain't gotta be like that.
Yeah, it's gotta be like that. Oh shit.
Come on now.
No, ain't no come on.
You understand where I'm coming from, though?
And you gonna go around doing some stupid shit like that?
Let's take my side of the story after you're done with him.
Ain't no side of the story.
Yeah, you guys got two different stories.
Don't play games, okay? Don't fucking play games. You just saw the damn thing what you did on your
What
phone.
was I doing on my phone?
What do you mean what was you doing on your phone? You took a picture of us. Let me see your outside.
Don't be close. Don't. How you guys doing? I have a really odd request. Is that okay? Will I be able to use this for later?
What? Social media?
This nigga be sending the weirdest shit. Is you even at work today, bro? What are you doing? Is you even working today, bro? Because you just all on TikTok in the group chat. And he an hour behind me. But it's 9:30 in the morning, nigga. You going in. you need to figure out something else to do. Sturdy cardboard. I need a thumbnail. Make a thumb out of one of these. Hey. Make a little thumb. Thumb, thumb, thumb. Gotta make me a thumb. Thumb, 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 thumb. Make me a thumb. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, 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 doop. This might work, or it might not. Roll me a hot blue doobie. What? You ain't never smoke a hot blue doobie? Shit. Roll that thing up just like that. And inhale them fumes. And that like some good glue smoke to get your day started. Love that glue smoke. Okay, now, is that a thumb? I think so, son. Is that a thumb? I guess. I ain't no fucking biologist. I don't know human anatomy like that. I ain't studied this shit at university. Bro. I'm just looking at my own body. It kind of looks like that, right? Like it would go right here. Maybe. Let's see. Slide up and down, spread that glue around a little bit there, boy. Gotta spread that glue, spread it out, you know. Make sure you get even coverage. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get even coverage when you spread that glue out. Is you even at work today? I bet he said no. He telling yeah, I'm at work, bored as fuck. Bro, I'm calling your manager right now, nigga. You done sent 17 TikToks this morning.
Offer me.
That's why you fat.
I already seen that
Because
one.
you're greedy.
Pay attention. When you look at your body and you disapprove, everything you ate has caught up to you. Try to act like you're skinny, but you really know. License say 200, but you really won't. Been there, ate it, gained a pound. After all that, I still shove it down. Nobody wants to eat alone. If you touch by the fat man's song, baby, you got the fat. Roly poly too. Stand up and you fall right back. You got the fat. When it comes to eating all the pies and the baby backs. Know you got the fat when you stuck in the car and you wanna get out. No one's around. Look at yourself. When you wanna tie your shoes, but you can't bend down because they're on the ground. When you look in the oven, food's already done. Grease around your mouth like you snuck in a son. On a turkey, on a ham, you ate all that honey, greasy candy. Unfortunate to have cheese curls. Want you to know I really adore food. All the people who feel it is going on. Look in the mirror, sing a fat man song, tell them I am fat. I love cheese curds. I'm gonna tell it to the whole wide world, tell them I am fat. I love cheese curds. I'm gonna tell it to the whole wide world. And some of y'all look just like me. Pay attention.
This nigga so fat he could hardly do this performance. He was running out of breath trying to talk. He ran out of breath trying to say. Then he said that's one of our other homies. He was like, oh, I found Jag. Okay. All right, so we got a hand. Can I get a hand? Did I not secure that in there? I guess not. Okay, we gotta figure out that real quick. Let's get that in there. I'm just doing it like that, right? Let's get that in there. With a little bit of hot glue. A little bit of hot glue. With that hot glue right there. Whoa, buddy, don't be trying to smack me in my face, homeboy. Don't try to smack me in my face. All right, so now another hand. We'll have to fashion another hand and a paint palette on this side here. So also, I want to trim this down just a little bit. Right, I'm going to trim it down a little bit and then make a similar style hand this side. I guess I can cut it down about right there. All right, I'm eyeballing this shit, man. It ain't got to be straight. Shit just got to look straight. The model of the decade, boy. It ain't gotta be straight, it just gotta look straight. If somebody come to this museum exhibit and be like, it doesn't look like Travis used a measured pattern to cut out his pieces. Fuck you, bitch. I cut that too short, maybe. I may have cut that too short, but it's gonna work either way. It's gonna work either way. We're still gonna put the hand in the palette here, right? That'd be good. It'll look okay. It'll look as it should look. Right? It will look as it should. Because this is an abstract representation of a person via the medium of cardboard, which is a very tough medium to mold without using spritzes of water. All right, so we're going to do that. Motherfucking $3CPO over this bitch. Another $3CPO. I can't have that piece flapping up like that. What's going on here? Oh no. Gravity. Feels like I'm holding up a very malnourished child. Tell me that ain't 3 CPO, man. Come on. I'm getting hungry now. I don't know what to have for breakfast though. Okay, that's good to go. Nice. So now I need another Palm Pilot. How big is this one? Not that big, actually. I'll do something like this, right? So I could cut almost. Filling with some packing material. I'm gonna fill this motherfucker with all the scraps I'm cutting off. I got a pile of this shit on the floor now. No, thank you, scam caller. I will not be participating in your program today. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to make no fucking Pinocchio. Yeah, please. If I see this thing walking through my house at night, man, look. I ain't trying to be on no puppet master shit. Hey, you remember that movie, Amiza? Puppet Master? No, sir. Shit gave me nightmares as a kid. The one little motherfucker, the 6-shooter, motherfucker had the little gunslinger with all the extra arms. Nah, son. Matter of fact, I might go get me a little bit of holy water. Splash this motherfucker just in case this nigga wanna act silly. Act silly like Millie Vanilli. I ain't with the bullshit, bro. Mm-mm. I ain't the one. Yo, the Puppet Master movies was crazy, bro. Them shits in the Hellraiser movies, man, look. I think Hellraiser and Puppet Master scared me more than Freddy Krueger and Jason. I ain't even gonna lie, yo. Puppet Master, that shit had me freaked out. Thinking about every doll may be haunted. Then Chucky ain't help. Well, Child's Play. Cause they say motherfucking people never say the name of the movie, they just say the characters. You ever seen Chucky? The name of the movie is Child's Play. It's not called Chucky. Okay, we get it. Name of the movie is Child's Play. Okay, so I need to make sure this is. It's gonna be like this, right? Kind of up, something like that. Okay. So what I need to do is put blue. Do that down right there like that, right? Might get a little reinforcement in the top. That, right? Nice and sturdy. Nice and sturdy. You know how everybody make it out on this big Monday. We at work today, or everybody on holiday today? You know, I said a lot of people here, man. Ain't nobody at work. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get something to eat soon. What time is it? I got a doctor's appointment in a little while too. All right, gang, he got some arms. No, hey, this motherfucker got arms now. You know what I'm saying? Check him out. Check him out. Look at him posing all crazy. All right. Yeah, we're gonna have a little paint palette here in this hand and a paintbrush in this hand. Then we're gonna build an easel with a canvas, paint something on the canvas, paint his face. And now we gotta fashion some kind of feet for him. I really want to see the paint palette as well, just so we can know like where the center of gravity is at and how we gotta shape these feet up for him. So the paint palette, let me just see if he can actually hold something. Stand up, bro. You look like you're drunk, my guy. You're drunk? Hold on, let me lay you down, bro. You don't look too good right now. Okay, the paint palette won't be no bigger than this. So we can get him to hold this in his hand. Like, oh, come on, guy. Like, is it gonna spin like that? I guess. Yeah, but get him to hold that in his hand. I might have to glue it down. I didn't want to glue it down, but I will if I have to. Yeah, paint palette. Which I think that would be so light. I'm not sure if that would actually affect the center of gravity at all. Or it might. It definitely might. Like I said, it's going to be smaller than this, and I probably will try to get this hand to bend upright. So, don't break it again. I wanted the hand to be able to clutch it like that. There it goes. See? Okay. It's still wobble, whatever. It's pretty sturdy. I can just hold him right here with one hand. I hold him right here. So he's not fragile. He ain't gonna fall apart. So that's a good thing. Now, feet. I was wishing I had little boxes, like some little teeny shoe boxes almost, and just have them have like box feet. Oh wait, I have one. I don't think. Well, this is too big though. Still, maybe. But literally just having like a box for a foot. Hey, this might work right here. I gotta find another box this size. And somehow like fashion that to be his foot, maybe. If that could be his foot, it's too big. I need even a smaller box than this. Or I could just, I could just make my own little small box. Figure out how to shorten this box down. But then I really wouldn't want the stickers or anything showing either. I just want all cardboard. So maybe I can just take some of these and make a box. Right? You only need it a little smaller than this. Do I have small boxes somewhere? I doubt it. I really don't think I would have a box smaller than this. Oh, did I rip that the wrong way? I did. Son of a bitch. Motherfucker. Why did I rip all those sides off? I just needed to rip that side off. Oh well. But either way, it's still kind of work, right? It's still kind of work. We'll see. We'll see. Let's try. Let's try. I'll just keep going like I'm doing. Hey, making shit up, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just making shit up, man. If that shit work, great. If it doesn't, we'll pivot and try to do something different. But for right now, hey man, my luck has been amazing with this project. My luck has been amazing. I'm just moseying along, slapping some hot glue on this cardboard. I gotta go to the bathroom again. God damn it, bro. My bladder is weak as shit. Okay, another bathroom break. What time is it? We almost at 3 hours and it's a little after 11. I'm gonna try to do 1 foot, guys, and then I'm gonna probably wrap it up so I can get ready for this appointment. Well, since it's almost lunchtime, I'll just wait and figure out something to eat for lunch. Hey. Okay. So I didn't mean to rip this part out, but I did. You know what? I didn't mean to rip this box the way I did, but too late now. Just gotta glue it back together. Oops, Damn, that's fucking crazy. I don't have another box this size. They were all in the basement and everything. But I guess this is the next size up. I don't know. I might can trim this down in a way that it'll work, but fuck, man. This size box seems like it'll work perfectly. So I might have to. Let me see if I can even make this possible. Are they the same height? No. Fuck, man. I thought this was just a little wider, but it's actually taller too. I wonder. I'm thinking about just. Damn, it's already 11:30, almost 11:30. I gotta eat. I gotta get something to eat. And Just in the shower. Went to the gym this morning and came straight from the gym right into the studio. I ain't even showered yet, man. I got a shower, have some lunch, get dressed, and make it to the doctor's on time. All right, got 2 feet. Not exactly the same, but I think it'll be close enough because I'm gonna have to alter 1 foot so that it actually has a crimp in it because the one knee is bent. So I actually want to have like the toe crimp right here on this side. This foot can be flat on the ground. Now I'm trying to see how can I stabilize him in here. Would it be like that, maybe? Now I want to cut the front down. Maybe something like this, right? Is that not the same box? Okay, yeah, no, I'm still tripping. Alright, so anyway, what I might want to do is something like that, and then flare this out even more so we'll have this to brace and glue to the box, to the side of the box. And this we can glue to the base of the box. All right. That. Pull those down. That down, right? Uh-oh. Looks something like that. Okay, guys, I think we have an idea of how to get a foot on here and secure it enough so that it can be freestanding. So we'll see how that works. I might be back in here later today. We did 3 hours. We got both arms and hands attached, so that's something. So we got arms, hands, and now, like I said, the next thing is working on feet and getting it mounted so that it can be freestanding. And then we'll start working on the easel. I don't know what I'm going to... See, I have a bunch of these at work. But I don't know if the entire project, well, I guess, it said you can use other materials as well. But I have these dowels, and I was thinking about getting like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more if I can. These might not even be tall enough for him. I guess it could be. So even if he's standing this tall and is in the easel, the easel would be this tall. I can still have it in a way that the canvas is sitting up higher. Dang, I didn't even realize how tall it was going to be. I thought these might work, but this actually might be a little shorter than I thought. Or I could make the whole thing out of cardboard. So, let's see. I still got tons of this cardboard left. I might make the entire easel out of cardboard. We'll work on feet next time when we come back. I say it might be today if I get bored and come back up here. If not, okay, this is my first foot, right? All right, foot number 1. This is foot number 1 and foot number 2. All right, so I got both of my feet here. We'll try to fashion those in the next one. Turn this hot glue gun off. Turn the space heater off. Turn the speaker off. We're not using the overhead light, so that is good. Grab the cell phone. Didn't use the iPad. My coffee, which is cold now. I guess that's it. Hey, I thank you for your company this morning. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. We're out of here.